So where is Georgia, Kirby Smart, the Dogs? Where are they going with quarterbacks? I'm going to try to help you get that answer as we go along today. We're narrowing in on about 3 weeks from Georgia playing Arkansas, and Georgia's going to need to know what they're doing at quarterback here sooner than later. Dean Legge from Dog Post, making you a smarter Georgia fan. I'm going to try to make you a smarter Georgia fan today. It's not always the easiest thing on earth because we're 2 scrimmages into this thing, and it seems like there's still a lot of questions about what's going on at quarterback at Georgia. I'm not sure that's always a great sign. But considering they just had the guy that a lot of people thought would be the starter leave at the beginning of last week, it's understandable Georgia be in this position. I'm not sure I'm as panicked about this as most people are. There's a lot of different reasons why. I mean, I think this team, this program, they're going to either win this thing or lose it with the defense. And the quarterback play has got to be better than it was a season ago, that's for sure. But I'm not certain that you're looking at the quarterbacks who are there and you're certain that they won't perform better than Jake Fromm did, particularly the last half of the season. So that's really the question here. I mean, I think there's a slew of questions. Let me just start off by who I think is probably winning the job right now and how that could change. Right now, it seems to me like that JT Daniels is in position to win the job. I'm not sure that Carson Beck or Dwan Mathis are, but I think JT is probably the steadiest person up there right now. That does not mean he's the most gifted. That's probably Mathis. That does not mean he's the best thrower. That's probably Beck. But he's been through this twice now. He's been through a quarterback competition 2 times at SC. He won it both times at SC. And now he's at Georgia participating for the 3rd fall in a row in a quarterback fight. So it can't be overly surprising that Daniels right now is the guy in the lead. The thing about it is there's a couple of wild cards here. First of all, with Mathis, obviously his mobility is better than the other 2 guys. Daniels still dealing with a knee injury. Beck just isn't as mobile. But both of them are mobile. They're just not like Mathis. That's really what separates Mathis from the other 2 guys. If Mathis could become probably more consistent as well as have a better understanding of what is desired, he might be the guy to watch here. I, though, get the feeling that that's not what's going on completely and that they're trying to figure out how they can best use Dwan Mathis. Considering that he's still pretty young and he, did not play at all last year. In theory, he would have been the backup, but he wasn't cleared to play, I don't think, until this spring. And I'm not sure I even know. I know, from what I understand, he's cleared to play from what I recall when we last talked to Kirby. Here's what he said. He says, as far as DeJuan, the advantage that he's got is that he can go on the scout team. This is what he was talking about last year. He was not medically cleared, but he could be in the scout team. If you remember, he was not cleared to do anything until past May. We were kind of in the dark on whether or not. We had like 6 NFL doctors to look at the scans to see the healing on his skull to be able to clear him. So he's, the person that people are most concerned about or the worry is that Daniels is not cleared yet, according to Kirby, as of a day ago that I'm recording this. So Mathis is clear, Beck is good, obviously Stetson Bennett. So you have 3 healthy quarterbacks. With that said, Kirby says, hey, we expect Daniels to be cleared by Arkansas, but that's a medical decision. I would imagine he would be cleared by then as well. That would be more than 12 months from the injury and about 12 months from the surgery for the ACL for Daniels. So you've got Daniels with his experience. He's fought through. This is his 3rd quarterback battle in 3 years. You've got Mathis with recovering from the brain cyst surgery as well as developing in a system that's different than what they had last year. And then you have Carson Beck, who, people at Georgia tell me is the best thrower of the group, but basically he's, I hear the term he's just young. I hear that a lot. The problem for Carson is, and really the problem for all these guys is, there's never going to be a time moving forward like we had last year at Georgia where there was a starter and it was kind of ball game over. I think, you saw in 16 quarterback competition. You saw in 17 sort of a modified quarterback competition, and then Jacob Eason gets hurt. Here comes Fromm. You see in 18, not what I would call a full-blown competition, but certainly plenty of it. And Fields plays. Not all the time, but some meaningful snaps for sure. I mean, that fake punt was quite meaningful for Georgia in the Alabama game in 2018. So, last year is not what it's going to be moving forward. I think from here on out, Beck, Mathis, Daniels, Vandegrift, whoever comes after Brock, there are going to be more 4- and 5-star kids in that locker room than there have been in 2019. It's going to be much more of a extremely gifted field. And if you've read what I've written on Dog Posts lately, you know that this is really not new for Kirby world. I mean, he's sat there and watched Saban and company have quarterback fights for 3 straight years before Kirby left, with Sims, Coker, and then eventually Jalen Hurts taking those jobs. The thing about where we're at right now is, I'm not going to lie, I'm intrigued by Mathis for sure, because if you start talking about a quarterback with the capability to run, that can solve that gives real issues to the defense, no question. Now, when Vandegrift gets up there, he can run. I mean, he can run, and I think Beck is probably an undervalued runner. So I would anticipate they all 3 run better than Jake Fromm did last year, which is to say Jake Fromm didn't run well at all. So where are they going to go? And I don't think this thing is going to be determined in Athens. I think it's going to probably be determined in Fayetteville. And I think the thing about that is it gives you the capability to go play a game where you're almost a 3.5 touchdown favorite. You should win going away. If they don't put 2 quarterbacks in the first half, I'd be a little surprised right now, because like Kirby's saying, no one's gone up and grabbed and gotten this job. No one has. That's not happened yet. And that's a problem, because in all the time that I've been around where there's been quarterback competitions, whether you're talking about Matthew, Joe Cox, Joe Tereshinski, Blake Barnes in 2006 or beyond, coaches want it to be obvious, and it's not probably obvious yet. I think it's going to become pretty obvious who the starter is for the Arkansas game. I'm not sure if they're certain who the starter from that point forward is going to be. They shouldn't lose to Arkansas. They should not lose to Auburn, but that's more tricky. And then you've got a game they should not lose to Tennessee before they play Alabama. So they've got time to figure this out. They just don't have tons of time. And we'll keep you posted on that as we go. Dean Legge from Dog Post, making you a smarter Georgia fan. Make sure to click the playlist right here for 2020, which is basically here right now. We'll see you on that playlist.